Hi, I'm Dr. Marty Loomis. I am one of the co-authors of Save Yourself from Burnout, and today I'm going to tell you the story about how my co-author Beth Genley and I met. We met at a Toastmasters meeting, and we were both relatively new. In fact, I think that might have been my very first day at that Toastmasters meeting. And Toastmasters is a club, an organization for people who enjoy public speaking and want to get better at it. And the whole idea is to bring you into an environment where you are being supported by other people who know you're trying to improve. The whole structure of it is extremely positive, just in the way that it's created and built up. And then, and the other people there, I mean, are also there because they enjoy doing something that I enjoy doing. Well, not all groups have people who enjoy public speaking. A lot of Toastmasters groups are with people who need to improve public speaking, but maybe are terrified. But this particular group was a group for speaking professionals. So they were at least other people who liked it enough to make it part of their job. And I went there because I'd known, actually my grandfather had been a Toastmaster and had been encouraged my whole life. You should check out Toastmasters. So this first meeting there, I met Beth. We had an opportunity to talk and we happened to get beyond the basic hello, nice to meet you, and into what we wanted to talk about, why we wanted to do more public speaking. And we found out we both like talking about burnout. What are the chances? Seriously, what are the chances? It's not that big of a group, and it's certainly not that big of a topic, at least it hadn't been. And I got so excited. And up until that point, I'd really been struggling to spend as much time as I'd been spending looking into burnout and studying it and looking at all the research that was available. I knew that that there was something wrong, and I knew that I needed more information to get out of this state. But I was starting to think that there was so much information and that going at it alone was maybe going to hurt me more than it was going to help me. And so here I was at this meeting another former healthcare professional. She'd been a nurse midwife and who had also got, she had the chops to look at the research, understand it, and be able to find those clues. And we started comparing notes about things we'd found already. And they weren't the same notes. They were complementary. They definitely made sense, but we had both discovered different things that when we started to talk and put them together, it really started to make sense. We could get a picture of like, yes, there is a pathway out of this. There was a way we got into this, and there's a pathway to get out of this. And it was so exciting that we finished the meeting and went to a totally different location down the street because we got kicked out of that location. We had the meeting room for just a small amount of time, then we had to get out of there. So we went down to this park down the street. It was a beautiful day, and sat on a picnic bench and talked. I think it was a good couple of hours and talked, got out a notepad, started making notes. And we talked so long that then the sprinklers finally went out, and we were in the middle of this park and the sprinklers were spraying us from all different directions. We're like, we had to run to our car. And I said, okay, this is probably a sign we've gone on enough for today. It's been hours of a first hello, how are you? that turned into a snowball effect of total excitement that not only have we found someone with something in common, and also Beth happens to be one of the kindest people in the world. We had this topic in common that we both were so passionate about for very personal reasons, but that we were here in the same place, the same location, and we could help each other. And that moment was the first moment of the end of my burnout, because I had found someone who was very important to me as a community member, as a team member, and I knew that together we could figure this out, and we could put together all the information that was out there in a way that would help other people. And as we found later, that even our professional backgrounds, the blend of having a naturopathic doctor, someone who just by the nature of my training, I like to ask, but why is that happening? But why is that happening? But why is that happening? And Beth's nature of being not only a nurse, but a nurse midwife, someone who is unbelievably good at working with people in a state of pain or finding out exactly how they're feeling and then guiding them through that in that moment and getting them to the next stage. She was so amazing at knowing how to grab the right information for different stages of discomfort and guide people to that next stage. Is just gorgeous. So then when we put our two, sets of notes together and our inclinations for how to get out of this, we not only had a direction, but we had the right ways of going about taking each step of that direction to make it as workable and as realistic as possible.